sciatica. And this is a problem that's just about as old as mankind, having to do with our posture both standing upright and in our recent culture sitting down. You'll find mentions of sciatic pain going back to Greek and Roman culture. You'll find it in poetry like Dylan Thomas's Under Milkwood, and you'll find a whole variety of cures for sciatic pain, ranging from practical to really fanciful sorts of cures, which sort of describes the mystery of the whole pain pattern. Sciatica or sciatic pain gets its name from the sciatic nerve, which is a nerve that comes from the spine and runs down through the buttock into the leg. It's actually a very large bundle of nerves. There's not a sciatic nerve, it's a bundle of 5 nerves. And in most cases of sciatic pain, it's usually one of those nerves gets affected, or at most 2 out of the 5. It's almost impossible to have all 5 sciatic nerves affected. But this is also a reason why the pain patterns can differ so much in terms of what parts of the leg or the buttock that you feel the pain in, or how far the pain goes down. And one of the difficulties of talking about sciatica is that the term, as much as it refers to the sciatic nerve, really refers more to a pain pattern or pain type, which can have a number of different causes or different manifestations. And the piriformis is involved in that, but is not often the sole culprit. One form, or the original form of sciatic pain, had to do with the nerves getting pinched as they exit the spine, running down through the leg, and then causing severe pain in that area. And when the nerve is pinched in the spine, that's obviously a more serious condition, and it affects the very tone and the strength and the functioning of the muscles. And to determine if the sciatic pain is from that source, the test is actually rather simple, is to have the person stand up and see if the person can walk around on their heels and also on tiptoes. In other words, to stand up and see if the person can simply do this, walking around on the heels. If you can't do that or have difficulty walking on tiptoes, that's an indication that the muscles have been affected by that pinching of the nerves, and that's a relatively important condition to have looked into by a doctor, because that has to do with the discs and the spine itself. Short of that problem, another pain pattern or another manifestation of that pain pattern is the sciatic pain pattern in general is described as, first of all, a kind of vague pain that runs across the sacrum or the waist, or down into the buttock, or into the buttock and down through the leg, all the way down to the toes. Big toe, little toe, depends upon which nerve. And it's not a localized sharp pain. If there's a localized sharp pain around the area of the sacrum, that's more likely to be a problem with the sacroiliac joint. And of course, you can have a combination of the two symptoms, a sharp pain in the sacroiliac joint and a more generalized pain running down through the leg. This is because problems of instability in the sacroiliac joint and sciatic pain can be related when there's a dysfunction in the piriformis muscle itself, and we'll be talking about that. But the second manifestation of sciatic pain, which is not so much the fault of the piriformis or even necessarily the sciatic nerve itself, is when the person strains or pulls the muscles and connective tissue of the low back or around the sacrum. Most often happens when you're bending forward. You often in your work bend forward to pick something up with the back rounded, pick something up and not realizing how heavy it is, and you pull your back. You pull the tissues of the back, you pull the fascia of the back, and then that causes a referred pain that can run down through the leg, through the back of the leg, into the buttock, wrapping around the thigh.